Welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast with Jacob Ayers, providing actionable content to help you along your journey to financial freedom through real estate investing. As the premier asset class, real estate has helped ordinary people just like you amass fortunes. The benefits of passive income from real estate investing will allow you to live a life you want. And now your host, entrepreneur, real estate investor, and apartment deal syndicator, Jacob Ayers.
Hi, and welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, episode 72. You're listening to Friday Fundamentals with your host, Jacob Ayers. Thanks so much for tuning in to yet another episode. First, I want to give a shout out to a 5-star review in iTunes. This review from Melissa says, "This show is so informative. I love how there are short and sweet episodes throughout the week and then one full-length episode. It helps me stay motivated all week long." Thank you all for the great reviews. I'm glad you're getting value out of this show. Now, with listeners from over 35 different nations, I bring to you this week's episode of Friday Fundamentals. This week's Friday Fundamental is assets and liabilities. Let's talk about how we spend money. This isn't some lecture about how you should forego that daily coffee and cut coupons so that one day you can retire. No one wants to hear that. But it is important to understand how you spend your money. Most people earn income from a job, then pay their bills, buy things they both need and want, and then only after they've done these things, they save what's left, if any. It's so easy to get caught up in this cycle of earn, spend, and then save. If you just go by handed down knowledge and social norms, you might think that owning 2 vehicles and a home in the suburbs is how you should spend your money. It's important to look at how you define your spending. Let's compare assets to liabilities and shape the way you think about each. Many people confuse assets and liabilities, so first, let's start with a simple definition for each. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Liabilities are things like TVs, furniture, vacations, and cars. And assets are things like rental properties, businesses, and stocks. You want to increase your assets and reduce your liabilities. Rather than buying a bunch of things you don't need, instead, buy an asset that will pay you. Many people make the mistake of thinking their own home is an asset. Your house costs you every month. You have to pay a mortgage, property taxes, and maintenance on that home. Therefore, it's actually a liability and not an asset. Now, some might say, yes, but one day my home will be worth more than what I bought it for. That's possible and likely, but don't let that make you think that it's an asset. Cars are another thing people get held up on. Many people buy new cars every few years, constantly upgrading and keeping up with the Joneses. Now, some even consider their car an asset because it's, well, a physical object that they've purchased. But cars are most certainly a liability. You have a car loan, insurance, maintenance, fuel, inspections, and repairs associated with that car. A rental property, on the other hand, is a good example of an asset. Let's say you own a house that you rent out. After you've paid the mortgage and all of the expenses, you're left with extra money that goes into your pocket. Now, going back to our daily coffee example, I'm not telling you to forego it and other liabilities. Just understand what and how you're spending your money on. Be mindful of assets and liabilities. Collect assets and purchase liabilities only with intention. Soon enough, your assets will pay for all of your liabilities and more. That wraps up this week's episode of Friday Fundamentals. I hope you're getting value out of this show. If you've liked what you've heard, please leave a rating and review on whichever platform you're listening on. It would mean a lot to me. As always, if you have any questions or comments or want to hear something or someone specific on this show, reach out to me. You can contact me at www.jacobayers.com/contact or connect with me on Facebook at The Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom. Till next week, signing off, I'm your host, Jacob Ayers.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, providing you actionable content to build your real estate empire. Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for personal advice. The opinions of guests are their own. Information is not guaranteed. All investment strategies have a potential for profit or loss. The host is operating on behalf of the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom, LLC exclusively.